How do you react when you see a problem coming or when there is a problem, yours, somebody else's? You just go for feel good therapy or do you act? Do you do something about it? So let me share with you what I have in mind. But before this, let us all thank God for God to protect us from not having any problems. Mizmor lesoida, riyul adenu kol haaretz, ivdu es adenu b'simcha b'elefonu b'nonu duk adenu Elohim hu osanu, v'lo anachnu ama b'tzom marisa b'yishor v'sodach hatzrois b'silo, hoidu lebaruch shemoi ki tov adenu le'olam chazdoi v'adoi v'doi emunasoi. One of the very positive ways, powerful ways to avoid problems is by giving tzedakah. So let's do so all together and pray for the well-being of all of Klal Yisrael and obviously for the Geula, Moshiach. What a perfect day today would be to do that. So what am I referring to? We find two interesting verses in this parsha. There are many, but I'm focusing on two of them. When finally Yosef revealed himself to his brothers, he says, Ani Yosef, I am your brother. And when they were convinced that he did so, says the pasuk the following: Vayipol al tzavrei Binyamin Achiv, and Yosef fell on his brother's Binyamin's neck, Vayevk, and wept. And then it says, Ubinyamin bacha al tzavorov, and in turn, Binyamin also wept on his brother's neck. What is the crying about? And what is this neck all about? And then interesting. Further it says, Vayinashik lecholechov, he kissed all his brothers, Vayevk alehem, and he cried on them, with them. Here it does not say on their necks. What's this business about crying on the other one's neck? So Rashi says the following: why was Yosef crying and why was Binyamin crying? Rashi says interesting thing. Vayevk, and he cried, Al shnei migdashe shasidim liyes bechelko shebinyamin v'sofen lecharev. Yosef didn't just become emotional for the moment. Yosef saw prophetic vision that the first and the second temple, which will be built in the territory belonging to Binyamin, will be destroyed, and that's what he cried about. Ubinyamin, so what did Binyamin cry about? It says Binyamin cried al Mishkan Shiloh, on the Mishkan which was in Shiloh. This was prior to building the first Beis Hamikdash. For a long period of time, they were in Shiloh, and this was in the territory of Yosef, and this was also destroyed. So this is what Binyamin cried. So in other words, Yosef cried about the temples in Binyamin's part which will be destroyed, and Binyamin cried on the temple which was going to be destroyed in Yosef's part. Tzavorov. What is the temple? The temple represents godliness, divinity, the revelation of God where? In this earth. That's what the temple is all about. Temple is where there is a fusion between heaven and earth. Godly revelation in the temple. The miracles which were there the whole time in the temple. As an example, the fire burning on the Mizbeach never extinguished and always was going on straight. As there were 10 miracles. So the Mishkan, the Beis Hamikdash, as well as the Mishkan, is a place where godliness is revealed on this earth. The fusion between heaven and earth. Between head and body, if we can use that way. What is connecting head and body? That's the neck. So this is why the Torah specifies that they were crying about on each other's neck. Now you can also ask the question, why is Binyamin crying for the plight of Yosef, and Yosef is crying for the plight, so to say, of the loss of Binyamin? So the Rebbe explains a beautiful thought. your own problem, your own loss, you got to do something about it. If the temple is destroyed in your place, it means this is your responsibility. So you can't just cry. As I said earlier, feel good therapy. Act. Do something. Somebody else's plight, which you can't do anything about it, at least you should feel it. At least you should shed a tear. It should affect you to the point that you should cry. The other brothers doesn't say they cried on their necks. What was he crying? Simply for this emotional moment of the reunification of each other. It's not just about the neck, it's not just about the temple, but their unity. And this is a total hug, a total embrace. So Eibishter, fix that neck. Let's have the Beis Hamikdash.